Today's latest top stories from Blue Eye Media. And now from our global friendly partners.
Donald Trump is ramping up his rhetoric this afternoon, calling for the explicit jailing of a senior Democratic donor, while there remains to be a coordinated effort on the right to dox, harass, and fire any individual, including a United States Marine, who may have said something negative or inappropriate about Charlie Kirk during and after his death. A significant development right now. Donald Trump this afternoon spoke to NBC News, where he told NBC News that George Soros and his son Alex Soros should essentially be jailed for helping incite this violence by paying protesters, by creating the protests around the country, claims that they have completely denied. And they're saying that Trump is saying he wants national healing after Charlie Kirk's death, but is continuing to blame the radical left as the main obstacle. But let me tell you this, folks. The quote-unquote radical left, there is no evidence to suggest that it was the radical left, whatever that may be, that caused the death of Charlie Kirk. In fact, there is a new conspiracy theory running around the internet right now. It's based on a Fox News report that suggests that the roommate of Tyler Robinson, the suspected shooter, was transgender. And as a result, many right-wing commentators took that and ran with it, saying that this is trans violence, that what Laura Loomer said, that transgender Americans should be essentially part of a domestic terrorist group. I mean, they have taken this to the nth degree. But as the hours have passed following that Fox News report, which has not had any verification, by the way, we're learning more and more that that report may not be fully accurate. And obviously, Tyler Robinson was not transgender. Tyler Robinson's father turned him in, seemingly suggesting that he lived with his parents, not necessarily any trans roommate. Anyways, there are a lot of conspiracy theories and a lot of misinformation flying around, but it's not surprising because over the past 3 days, mainstream media has fueled the flames of conspiracies. The Wall Street Journal did it with the bullet casing, saying there was transgender ideology on it. They had to retract that claim. The Guardian did it, saying that a high school friend of Tyler Robinson said that he was a leftist. They retracted that claim. And now Fox News is doing it, and the New York Post is doing it, both owned by the Murdochs. And I wouldn't be surprised if their claim is either completely retracted or very much edited to water it down. But after all the conspiracies have started, after all the chaos online has started. Before I continue, I won't fuel those conspiracies. I'm sticking to the facts, so please consider subscribing to support my work, a new type of media, an independent type of media. We're sending a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron Parnas. Now, meanwhile, FBI Director Kash Patel is facing significant criticism after mishandling communications during the investigation of Kirk's murder, including a premature social media post and heated exchanges with agents, raising concerns inside and outside the Bureau, even among conservatives, about his leadership style and whether he is fit to continue serving as director of the FBI. He sparked backlash because he tweeted misleading updates about the investigation, saying that they had the suspect in custody when in reality they just released the man that they had in custody. And he did that while reportedly, according to the Daily Beast, dining at New York's elite Rao's restaurant, fueling accusations of inexperience, unprofessionalism, and eroding FBI morale, even as the White House tried to defend Kash Patel. The Trump administration is meanwhile asking Congress for $58 million in additional funding to boost protection for executive and judicial officials following the assassination of Kirk. I do want to talk about this coordinated campaign that we're seeing. It's a coordinated campaign by conservative activists, politicians, and a doxing site that is actively targeting people who posted about Charlie Kirk's murder, leading to the firings of several teachers, employees, and even a DC Comics writer, as critics are warning that it amounts to organized harassment with private companies and public institutions under pressure to punish speech seen as celebrating his death. And today we learned, according to USA Today, that a United States Marine was fired after posting that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, racist man who was, quote, popped. as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon vowed zero tolerance for service members or employees mocking Kirk's assassination, with military branches and even the State Department warning of disciplinary action or visa denials for those glorifying his death. And today, tens of thousands of people rallied in London at Tommy Robinson's far-right Unite the Kingdom event tied to mourning Charlie Kirk, rising nationalism, clashes with police, and counter-protests. The gathering featured figures like Steve Bannon, Jordan Peterson, and others. This morning, Fox News host Brian Kilmeade sparked significant outrage when he suggested that mentally ill homeless people should face, quote, involuntary lethal injection or something, quote, just kill them. That is a real quote, and I have the video below for you to watch because it is significant. Nonetheless, it is very significant what Kilmeade was suggesting. Meanwhile, Poland has temporarily deployed aircraft, closed the Lublin airport, and placed air defenses on high alert today in a preventative operation after threats of Russian drone strikes spilling from Ukraine. Donald Trump said he is prepared to impose major sanctions on Russia, but only if all NATO countries follow suit and halt Russian oil purchases, while also urging allies to levy a 50 to 100% tariff on China until the war ends. California lawmakers have passed legislation banning most law enforcement officers from wearing face coverings while on duty, citing fears after mass federal agents conducted immigration raids in Los Angeles. And Bad Bunny is now saying that because of ICE raids, because of essentially what ICE is doing across the United States of America, that is the reason he did not include any United States stops on his tour. He essentially, this is a big example of how Donald Trump's policies are impacting culture, impacting tourism, impacting American businesses, and more, and American income. And so we're going to see what happens next on that front. But on a serious note, I do want to say what is happening with the media over the past 3 days is very concerning. The narratives that are being spun, the headlines that are being put out, allowing these right-wing influencers, and it's not just right-wing, honestly, right-wing, left-wing, centrist, everyone, it's allowing people to spin up conspiracy theories. Because for some reason, this country wants to have a right versus left divide. No one knows the true cause of death for Charlie Kirk other than that it was a shooting conducted potentially by this suspect. No one knows the motive behind it. And until we do, it's so irresponsible to speculate about it. And it's something that I refuse to do any day. I would never do that, not as an attorney, not as a reporter. I would never do that because it is irresponsible to do that. And yet many mainstream media companies like the Wall Street Journal, like The Guardian, Fox News, New York Post, they seemingly don't care. They don't care. And it's going to cause a lot more harm than good in the United States of America. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the morning for another morning update.
Follow Blue Eye Media for exclusive insights and breaking news sources from global-friendly outlets that you'll never get from the mainstream cable TV and antenna radio or satellite outlets. Learn how to play the flute of the world and learn the real facts.